Do you feel the vibe?
Hello grade 8, another day to live, another day to love, another day to love, and another day to learn. So for this lesson, we are going to learn factoring trinomial ax²+bx+c. In this lesson, you are expected to factor completely the different types of polynomials. We are done with several types of polynomials, and today we are dealing with general trinomials. Factoring trinomials is the inverse of multiplying two binomials. So instead of multiplying two binomials to get a trinomial, you will write the trinomial as a product of two binomials. So our general form of a trinomial is ax²+bx+c. So our goal is in factoring trinomials is to make ax²+bx+c is equal to, of course, yung two binomials natin. Okay, na in which, when a is equal to 1, is that the trinomial becomes x²+bx+c. And it is easier to factor. So, in this lesson, actually, we will only show you how to factor when a is equal to 1. Okay, so as you read and understand the lesson, please take note in finding the answer for this guide question. How do you factor a polynomial in the form ax²+bx+c? In factoring polynomials, or in the general trinomial, each quadratic equation is of the form ax²+bx+c, where the coefficient of the squared term is 1, of course. If the coefficient or the constant is not a perfect square, the trinomial cannot be factored into the square of a binomial. It may, however, be possible to factor it into a product of two different binomials. It may, however, be possible to factor it into a product of two different binomials. Okay, so in our examples, we are dealing with two cases. The first case is that if a is equal to 1, and the second case is that if a is greater than 1. So as I have mentioned, the trinomial or the quadratic trinomial is in the form ax²+bx+c. So for example, we have here 3x² minus 2x plus 5. 3 is the a, negative 2 is the b, and 5 is the c. Okay, don't be confused by that. So quadratic trinomials in the form ax²+bx+c with a is not equal to 1. So for example, we have here 2x² plus 9x plus 4. The value of a is simply the 2, the value of b is simply 9, and the value of c is equal to 4. So, you already know or you have a prior knowledge when we are talking about the FOIL method. Okay, so the FOIL method is useful when factoring polynomials such as, for example, we have x² plus 3x plus 2. So the FOIL method, we have your f stands for first term, o for the outer term, I for the inner term, and L for the last term. So for example, we have here, we factored out x² plus 3x plus 2. We have here now the quantity x plus 1 multiplied by quantity x plus 2. If we follow the FOIL method, so x times x, the first term, so we have x². The outer term, we have x multiplied by 2, that is 2x. The inner term, we have 1 times x, that is x. And the last term, we have 1 times 2, that is 2. So we have x² plus 2x plus x plus 2. So we simply need to combine the like terms. So we have 2x plus x, which is equal to 3x. That's why meron tayong x² plus 3x plus 2. But of course, ang focus natin ngayon is paano natin mapa-factored out yung polynomials ngayon. Okay? Kasi master nyo na yun sa may part ng FOIL method. So, how? ganito siya. The first one is that the first term, which is x squared, is the result of x times x. You should know this na, okay, isip ka, ano bang variables na kapag pinag-add ko, or pag pinag-multiply ko, the answer is x squared, and that is x and x. That's why ito siya. The first term of each binomial is x. Okay? Quantity x plus blank muna tayo, multiplied by quantity x plus blank. Now, how do we get the second term for each binomial? So, the coefficients of the middle term and the last term of the trinomial are two numbers whose product is 2 and whose sum is 3 respectively. Okay? So, kung babalikan nyo kanina example, ang coefficient na middle term natin is 3 kasi we have 3x. And for the coefficient naman, and the last term natin, which is the c, is 2. So, isip ka ng dalawang numbers that when you add, the result will be the middle term. And when you multiply, the result will be the last term. So, in that case, kaya natin napili si 1 and 2. Because when you multiplied 1 and 2, the product is 2. And when you add 1 and 2, 1 plus 2, that is 3. So, nakuha natin yung middle term kanina. So, that's why the factors of x squared plus 3x plus 2 is simply equal to quantity x plus 1 is equal to quantity x plus 2. Okay? So, for more understanding, let's have another example. For number 1, we need to factor out x squared minus 3x plus 18. So, una, let us put the parentheses, of course, so that makakapag-create tayo ng two binomials. And another thing is, yung i-factor natin yung first term. Think of a variable that when you multiply by each other, the result would be x squared. And that is x, okay? X and x, because x times x is equal to x squared. Now, dun sa sinabi natin kanina, if you're going to factor out the numbers so that you can get negative 18, make sure that to think of two numbers that when you multiply, the product is negative 18. And when you add, the sum is negative 3. Okay? So, let us try muna for negative 18. So, pag daw pinag-add natin for example, we have 3 and negative 6. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Okay? But when you add 3 and negative 6, that is equal to negative 3. Remember the rules in adding integers: same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Okay? Take the sign of a higher number, then it will be exact. So now, how about negative 3 times 6? Negative 3 times 6 is also equal to negative 18. However, when you add negative 3 and 6, the answer is 3. Okay? Another, 2 and negative 9. When you multiply 2 and negative 9, the answer is still negative 18. However, when you add the two numbers, that is equal to negative 7. And we have negative 2 times 9. When you multiply, that is negative 18. But when you add, that is positive 7. Another example, 1 times negative 18. That is negative 18. However, when you add those integers, that is equivalent to negative 17. And lastly, we have negative 1 times 18 is also negative 18. But when you add negative 1 and 18, the result will be 17. So, alin dito sa mga sinote natin ang nagresulta sa middle term na negative 3? Okay, that is 3 and negative 6. 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. And 3 plus negative 6 is simply equal to negative 3. That's why, ang ilalagay na natin na second term for each binomial is positive 3 and negative 6. That's why we have quantity x plus 3 multiplied by quantity x minus 6 is the factor of x squared minus 3x minus 18. If you want to verify if your answer is correct, you can use the FOIL method na tinuro ko sa inyo last time pa, okay? Last year pa ata, baka ako grade 7 pa lang tayo, nabanggit ko na, okay? So, that is for our case number 1, in which the value of our a is equal to 1. So, for case number 1, we need to look first if there's a common factor. So, then, we need to create a parenthesis. Afterwards, you need to look for the factors of negative 18. And that is what we did earlier, okay? So, next is that what factors of negative 18 will be resulted to the middle term negative 3 when you add them. That's why our answer is 3 and negative 6, okay? So, let's try another example for this, okay? So, we need to factor x squared plus 15xy minus 16y squared. So, once again, think of the variables that when you multiply, the answer is x squared. And that is x and x, okay? So, creating the parentheses, then we have now the first term for both binomial. We have x and x. So, again, sulat natin si negative 16. Okay, kay negative 16, anong number kaya ang pag pinag-multiply mo, ang lalabas ay negative 16. So, we have negative 4 and 4, we have negative 2 and 8, 2 and negative 8, negative 16 and 1, or 16 and negative 1. But, pipili ka dito, alin po ba dito ang when you add the two integers, the result will be positive 15, the middle term, the constant in the middle term. Okay? And that is, okay, yung nasa dulo, we have 16 and negative 1 because 16 plus negative 1, that is 15. Now, looking at the last term, we have negative 16y squared. That is why, in the given examples na ginawa ko, nilagyan ko siya na y. Okay? So, do not forget that. So, ayun siya, nag-result siya ng 15y. So, meaning to say, among the list of terms na binigay ni Ma'am C, you can choose 16y and negative y to be the last term of each binomial. So, we have earlier x and x. So, we have now, so just simply put positive 16y and negative y in the expression. So, we have quantity x plus 16y is x plus 16y, or quantity x plus 16y multiplied by quantity x minus y. Okay? So, next is for our case number 2, in which the value of a is greater than 1. So, for example number 3 is that we need to factor 3x squared plus 5x plus 2. Once again, our a is 3, our b is 5, and our c is 2. So, first is to create the two parentheses. Okay? Next is to factor out 3x squared. Okay? Alin yung variables or terms na when you multiply, the answer would be 3x squared. Okay? That is 3x and x. So, 3x times x is simply equal to 3x squared. That's why, inside the parentheses, we put 3x, the first term for the first binomial, and x on the other binomial. Okay? Next is for you to think once again. Ito na siya. Si factor ni 2. Okay? Si 2, iisip ka ng numbers na kapag pinag-multiply mo, the answer is 2. And that is simply 2 times 1. So, nilagay natin si 2 and 1. Okay? Now, paano natin malalaman kung tama po yung nilagay nating 2 and 1? Try to use the FOIL method. Okay? So, we have 3x multiplied by 1, that is 3x. And 2 multiplied by x, that is 2x. When you add 2x plus 3x, the result will be 5x. And that is our middle term. So, our answer is that when you factor 3x squared plus 5x plus 2, the result would be quantity 3x plus 2 multiplied by quantity x plus 1. Okay? So, another example. Okay, for number 4, you need to factor out 4x squared minus 6x minus 10. Okay, so the first thing you need to do this is to apply your learnings in common monomial factors. What is the common factors of 4, negative 6, negative 10? Oh, for example, or the expression 4x squared minus 6x minus 10. All of them, or the GCF of them, is 2. Okay? So, applying the knowledge in common monomial factor that I taught you last time. So, we have here 2 multiplied by quantity 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. Okay, paano po nakuha nasa loob ng parentheses? 4x squared divided by 2, which is your GCF. So, that is equivalent to 2x squared. Next is negative 6y divided by 2, that is negative 3x. And negative 10 divided by 2, that is negative 5. So, we have here now the trinomial inside the parentheses. Now, since this is in trinomial form na, we can use now the factoring na. So, think of once again terms that when you multiply, the answer is 2x squared. So, we have 2x and 5. Tama po? 2x and x. So, next is think of integers that when you multiply, the result would be negative 5. So, our answer is negative 5 and 1. Okay? So, applying your knowledge in fold method, for example, we have 2x multiplied by 1, that is 2x. And negative 5 multiplied by x, that is negative 5x. So, when you add 2x plus negative 5x, the answer is negative 3x. And that is the middle term. Okay? So, but do not forget that 2, okay, the GCF kanina. So, ito siya. So, your final answer would be 2 multiplied by quantity 2x minus 5 multiplied by quantity x plus 1. Okay? Huwag tayo mag-overthink masyado. Okay? It's so easy lang naman. And for last number, we have to factor 5x squared minus 8x minus 6. Okay? And this is not factorable. Kasi baka iisip ka, ano kayang number yung kapag pinag-multiply ko, tsaka pag pinag-add ko, lalabas dapat si negative 6 or negative 8, wala kang makita, okay? So, not factorable siya. However, may mga ways para malaman po natin kung factorable or hindi factorable ang isang trinomial, okay? So, here, these are the points to remember in factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. If the terms of a trinomial do not have a common factor, then the terms of a binomial factor cannot have a common factor. So, another thing is that if the constant term of a trinomial is positive, the constant terms of the binomials have the same signs as the coefficient of x in the trinomial. And lastly is that if negative, the constant terms of the binomials have the opposite signs. Okay, so to test the factorability of the trinomial, we can get the discriminant of the trinomial. So the discriminant stands for b squared minus 4ac. Okay, the discriminant is equal to b squared minus 4ac. Now, so let us check for our answer in number 1. But in our number 1 example, we have x squared minus 3x minus 18. Ang sagot natin is quantity x minus 6 is multiplied by quantity x plus 3. So, simply use the discriminant po. So, we have b squared. The value of b is negative 3. That's why you need to substitute negative 3 sa b. So, negative 3 quantity squared minus 4 multiplied by 1 because our a is 1 kasi x squared lang siya. Next is our c is negative 18. So, negative 4 times 1 times negative 18. So, our answer is that d is equal to 81. And 81, when you find the square root of 81, that is equal to 9 because 9 times 9 or 9 squared is equal to 81. Kapag whole number na ganito at may specific answer siya, meaning to say, or whole number rather, meron siyang discriminant. So, your answer is factorable. So, another example is for number 2. We have x squared plus 15xy minus 16y squared. Our answer is quantity x plus 16y multiplied by x minus y. Paano natin malalaman kung factorable nga ba talaga yun or kung tama yung sagot natin? Let's have the test for factorability, in which we're using the discriminant of the trinomial in the form d is equal to b squared minus 4ac. So again, substitute lang po. So ang b natin ay 15, ang a natin ay 1, ang c natin ay negative 16. So the result is b is equal to 289. And kapag kinuha nyo ang square root niyan, that is 17 because 17 times 17 is equal to 289. Dahil whole number ang inyong naging discriminant, meaning to say factorable siya. Okay? So for our last example kanina, yung number 5 natin kanina, that is not factorable. Yung 5x squared daw minus 8x minus 6. Okay? So again, substitute the value of a, b, and c. So we have negative 8 quantity squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 6. Our answer is 184. Meron siyang square root, however, not a perfect square. So, kapag not a perfect square, yung discriminant natin, we can say now that the given expression or trinomial is not factorable. So, that would be the end of our discussion for factoring general trinomials. Don't overthink and don't think na mahirap ang math, of course. Na? So, hopefully, you learned something new today. And, of course, sabi ko lagi, dugtong-dugtong ang lessons sa mathematics. That's why we started the lesson in polynomials, then common monomial factor, diba? Iba-iba, may sum and difference at 2 squares, and so on. So, hopefully, ay tumataas yung level ng ating mga natutunan. And of course, in your modules, you can answer na. Okay? So, sa akin lang is that always remember that I want you to realize how important and to value the education. Okay? So, huwag kayong pa-stress. Ang isipin nyo para saan at bakit nyo kailangang aralin yung mga lessons natin na ito. Okay? So, thank you for today and God bless. See you soon!